Hello and welcome to Stock Update Tuesday. Today this is going to be a little compilation, well quite a long compilation, of all of the stocks that we have looked at today. As I've said before, I don't know if this style of content works very well, but again, I'm simply going to be sharing with you all of the different stocks and companies that we've been looking at over the course of today. Hopefully it might bring your attention to some new companies, or perhaps it may just be a good place for you to catch up on everything in one organized place. If you enjoy these more long form videos where everything's compiled into one, please make sure to let me know, leave a like on it, subscribe, it does help a lot. Again, simply just a compilation of everything filmed today. I don't know if it's going to be good, but yeah, everything is coming up right now. Hope you enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome to another quick video, this time on SOFI technology stock. We are seeing SOFI stock today being relatively neutral, an increase of 0.039%, not worth mentioning really at all. However, this is worth mentioning in the context of the past 5 days, and most critically in the context of the past month. I'll get to why that is in just a moment. I'll be sharing with you today all of my personal thoughts and opinions in a very quick and concise manner so that you can get on with the rest of your day. If you enjoy these sorts of videos and appreciate the speed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. At the same time, as usual, remember this is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. We might as well cut straight to it, right? Now, SOFI stock in the past day or so, again, not moving very much. I don't think that's a bad thing. Again, a lot of people want to see this one break out above critical levels. They are going to be, for me at least, at 26.30, 26.35, levels that we've struggled at in the past couple of days. Now again, going forwards into the next few days, we do still want to see these levels break out. However, today does signify one thing in my head. It signifies that the strength is still potentially here. We haven't seen the stock drop, we haven't seen massive declines in share price, and again, considering the fact that yes, just a few days ago, on the 4th of September, stock was priced at 24, right? Now we're coming all the way up to 25.92. It's quite the increase. Again, what are we looking for now? We're looking for this one to hold on to the levels at 25.50, levels that we have seen in the last day or so. Ideally, we're not going to drop much lower than that. If we do, I think the next levels of support are potentially at 25.20, 25.15, or potentially even worse at 24.70 to 24.80. So ideally you can see why we want to hold this. Because if we don't hold on to these levels, I think there's every possibility that we go to these levels. And if anything, we want to start to build this momentum to the upside. So again, very clearly a lot of difficulty breaking above $26 into 26.50 and 27. A push above those levels into tomorrow potentially or the next few days would signify an uptrend in my opinion, whereas obviously a push below these other critical levels would signal the potential for a downtrend. Again, today's relative stability, not a bad thing at all. I think it shows a lot of resilience in this stock. I think it shows a lot of potential, both short and mid-term in this stock. Time will of course come to tell what actually does go on, but again, if I had to give my opinion, I'm pretty impressed. I think things are actually going comparatively quite well today, and if this, leads into a bit of a rally tomorrow, or if we're able to break into the $26 range and stay in there, that is going to be big. So we're very close to recent highs. That is going to matter a lot, and I think this has just been a great opportunity for the indicators to cool off a little bit. For example, RSI, last time we saw a run, very much into the overbought territory. Not so much anymore, right? Things are cooling off, things are starting to look a lot better. It's about seeing if this actually then translates into a further push to the upside, which I think it possibly can. Time will tell though. Again, I've given you the levels on the upside and the downside that I'm looking for, just so that you guys get the full scenario picture. Let me know your thoughts on it down below. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Goodbye. Hey everybody, welcome back. Got another quick video for you today on MicroStrategy, a stock which we have seen drop over the past couple of weeks, really since about the middle of July. Now we are seeing the stock come into critical levels of support, where we again have found that support in the past. The question now becomes, where do we go from here? Are we about to see a potential bounce, especially amidst news that we have coming out of the company? So we'll get onto that first, but before we do jump in, I want to mention I am not a financial advisor, and this is of course not financial advice. It is just based on my opinions. If you do enjoy my videos, please do help me out by leaving a like and subscribing. I try and make as much content for you guys in the most quick, concise and relevant ways possible. So if you could subscribe, it would be appreciated. I'm going to jump straight into this news here. Now we know that whilst MicroStrategy has missed out on S&P 500 inclusion, Michael Saylor's firm has bought another 1,955 Bitcoin for $270 million. MicroStrategy has expanded its Bitcoin holdings with $270 million worth of a purchase amidst recent investor pushback as the stock slides and its valuation relative to Bitcoin weakens. What do we know so far? Well, we know that the purchase of another 1,955 Bitcoin was done for $217 million at an average price of $111,196 per coin, lifting the total holdings now to 638,460 BTC. The buy comes amidst the company missing out on getting included in the S&P 500. MicroStrategy's shares have slid 26% since July, where they are currently trading at $335. Now, MicroStrategy has announced its big purchase. Again, the total holdings now up to 638,000. Now, I think this is really as relevant as that article is going to be. Let's just get straight into the good stuff, right? What are we looking at? Well, of course, that is potentially a good sign. You could make an argument for that, and I wouldn't disagree. However, on the technical side, at the very least, we are coming up to an interesting point as well. Now, we all know this stock missed out on S&P 500 inclusion, which raises a number of other questions as to where things go. I think it was inevitable that we'd see a little bit of a sort of rejection and a push to the downside after missing out on that. However, things really haven't been as bad as many anticipated. Past 5 days, yes, we are down, but not that big. Past month, yes, we are down, but again, coming from the 19th to now, we're only seeing a decline of 2%. And with this trend, and you can see this very clearly on this chart, zoom right in, right? This is not necessarily a straight line anymore. The straight line would draw us down to like here, right? That's not where we are. We're seeing this trend somewhat slow. And again, over the last couple of days, we're actually relatively positive. Again, come to these lows that we're seeing around, what, 328, I think it is? No, 317 even. That's quite a bit lower than obviously where we are now. What that means is, yes, we are still generally in a downtrend, but you're starting to ask questions now as to whether this is a bottom forming. And historical data does point to the fact that this has been a level of support a couple of times in the past. Again, we're seeing this here, we're seeing it as a resistance also way back here. Then you look back even further, this is going back into February. What do we have? Roughly this level working as a support. Same thing that we see here back in January. Even at some points in 2024, most notably here in December and also here in November. So we've seen this level hold up a good couple of times in the past. Again, sometimes it has failed to the downside, yes, and others it has moved to the upside. This stock is down quite a bit since even July, right? So that's a relatively small amount of time to see this stock crashing so much. I think off the back of that, we are potentially coming now to a point where the stock downside is limited, or is becoming more limited, or is becoming less linear. You know, we're seeing this one slowly starting to come to a point, and you've got to ask that question, how far are we from the bottom? Well, if we're looking at the technical levels, and if I'm sharing my opinion, I think what we are seeing is a level that is going to be very crucial. So I'm going to make this one to the downside very simple. 315 or above, that's what we need to hold on to. Ideally, that's more like 318, that would be even better, and again, ideally 320. Anything below 315 and I become seriously concerned, as the next levels in my head below that are quite a bit lower in the 2s, right, 200s. So this is going to be a big make or break point. We have bounced off it, we've not gone down to that level again. To the upside, it's also relatively simple. We need to break above highs initially at 330, I should say. 330 is the first level, then we're looking to 337, 339, 350. Then past 350, we are looking to get onto about 360. 360 has been a level of resistance and support many a time in the past. So for a full-on trend change, we are looking at levels like 360 being extremely relevant. However, short-term objective, what do I want to see here? It's actually really easy. I just want to see this one slowly start to make some moves up. Again, if we don't hold on to those downside levels, I think things get a lot worse. If we are able to hold on to those, I think we are in a potential to see a little bit of a reversal. Coming up to the levels as mentioned, I think things start to get a bit better, but that's just my opinions, right? Again, I give you guys the levels both to the upside and the downside for two reasons. Number one, I want to be realistic, and number two, I want you guys to make your own opinion. I've provided you with the data that I am looking at. I think this is relevant, and again, if you are finding value from it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. But go on to make your own decisions, formulate your own opinions. Thank you for your time, and I hope I'll see you again soon, guys. Goodbye for now. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Let's have a look today at TLRY. This stock in the past month is up quite big. From the lows at the beginning of the month to the highs, we have seen this one rise by nearly 60%. However, ever since we have seen this one dropping, totally in the past month, the past 30 days at least, we've seen this stock up by about 24%. However, the past 5 days is actually red, down by just under 10%. But you will see here the majority of this drop is coming in perhaps before the 5th of September, and if we draw the line from there to now, we are actually up ever so slightly. The question now becomes, where do we go from here? And is there a potential to see this one go even higher? Well, over the course of this video, I will be sharing with you all of my thoughts and opinions of everything that we are seeing. We might as well jump straight in. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, as always, make sure to leave a like in it and subscribe. It does help me out a lot. At the same time, remember, this is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. So, what are we seeing here? How are things playing out? We are, of course, seeing this stock dropping significantly from these highs. Now, the thing about a lot of these stocks is people tend to freak out when we see them drop so much, but you've got to get some perspective, right? And I think this is absolutely important and valid here. Go back to the middle of June, and we were seeing this being a 35-cent stock. You know, comparatively to where we are now, we're multiple times above that. Things are not that bad. You're bound to see, in my opinion, a little bit of a difficult period, or a little bit of a sell-off, as people want to take profits, as things essentially even out. For a stock that's gone up this big, the most important thing in my eyes, especially being as we don't really have one yet, but we'll get to this in a second, but the most important thing is about trying to find a new level of support, a new level where we can essentially find a base for the stock to sit for potential further runs up. Now, at the same time, we are seeing this level holding up at the moment, and we've seen it hold up previously at $1. We're seeing $1 hold up very nicely in the last week or couple of weeks, which again in itself is a good thing. Above that, so far in today's session, we're seeing 109, 110 holding up, which is also pretty good. So for me, going forwards into the next few days, based on what we are seeing, anything above $1 is a win, right? If we drop a bit more tomorrow, if we are able to stay above $1, I still consider this to be a stock with relative strength, all being considered. As long as we can find a new support and establish that, I think things overall are very positive. Now, in terms of the upside potential here, if we are, let's say, able to hold on to $1, 110, right, and again, I give you guys both sides of the spectrum. I give you the upside potential and the downside potential that I'm looking for, so that you can see the levels and, of course, go on to do further research by yourself. But going to the upside, a few levels of difficulty. Now, we're seeing this today, we're seeing this over the last couple of days, actually. This has historically been a level. 115, 116. Difficulty past that today, difficulty past that here as well. We're seeing difficulty at this range and this range in the past, back in August. So you're looking to break above that. That's going to be quite important. Past that, of course, you are looking to run up to 125, where we have had levels of resistance in the past, then on to 130. And if we are able to see that, then we're looking at 150 and possibly even beyond that into new territories. So with all being said, what am I looking for with this stock? Well, like I say, worst case scenario is a push down to 101, I was going to say 100, but that's absolutely fine. $1 on the dot, I'm not that concerned. A drop below to, let's say, 90, 93, not the worst thing in the world, but still a significant drop, and it puts us, in my eyes, out of this trend. A very, very idealistic world scenario of what we might see for the next few days is, again, be it a small decline or a small increase, it doesn't really matter, but some consolidation into tomorrow, a pattern that kind of confirms that the downtrend is slowing, and again from there the potential to see this one slowly or even rapidly rise up. But again, all I'm trying to say here is, I think mid to long term, if we see more growth, or if we see this pattern hold up, the likelihood of seeing more growth obviously increases. I think a lot of people panic here, again, because we see these stocks that are dropping, 5%, 10% sometimes in a day. People get nervous. But again, you've got to look at the broader perspective here. This is a stock that's up big. And again, these gains can't be denied. You would expect to see a stock like this declining a slight bit. I think it's coming down to a healthy level. RSI now is coming down to a healthy level too, actually coming towards the oversold range even, if you can believe that. So, the potential is obviously going to be there into the next few days. Things, I think, needed to cool off a bit. Do we have that potential to run higher now? I think we do, but again, time will tell. So I'll be back with you again soon to give you another update video on what we see with this stock. If you do enjoy these videos, again, leave a like for me and subscribe, it does help a lot. And I hope I'll see you again soon. Hey everybody, we've got to talk about this stock CWD, a stock which is up today by over 300%. We are asking in this video what comes next, what can we expect from this particular stock. If you enjoy videos like this, please do make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe. But as usual, remember, I am not a financial advisor and this is certainly not financial advice. Now, 5-day chart on this one really puts everything into perspective. You know, we've seen this one obviously rocket up today with a little bit of a decline towards the end of the day. A lot of people are going to be asking, you know, what happens next? We're seeing this penny stock have a massive rise. Again, we are seeing a chain link strategy. You guys will probably know this. But even so, the question then becomes, well, where do we go from here? Again, we can have a look at those details in a bit more detail. I recommend that you kind of do this by yourself, but if you want a little bit of the latest on this one, we are seeing Caliber Bros at the time of this article being written jump into $13 as the company said it has completed its initial purchase of Chainlink tokens. The stock rose as high as $48 per share early in the session and is now up 7% in the past 12 months. A diversified real estate and digital asset management platform said that it intends to fund Chainlink acquisitions based through its existing equity line of credit, cash reserves, and through issuance of equity-based securities. So that's just a little bit of a read of it, right? But the question then becomes, well, where do we go from here and what do we expect? And fundamentally, what are my opinions? Well, of course, we've got to bring this one up on the charts. I don't know why my charts never seem to want to hold any of the stocks that I am speaking on. But yeah, so when we see this one, you can clearly see, you know, as mentioned, shares went way higher than this today. Now we are coming back down. Would I be buying this stock right now? Honestly, guys, of course not, right? You guys may say, oh, well, you know, there's more upside potential, and all of that sort of stuff may be true. Perhaps this is a stock that we are going to be looking at in a lot more detail, but I'm going to keep this one absolutely simple, right? I give no nonsense updates on this channel. I share my opinions to the truest of what they are. And again, this is not advice. I am not a financial advisor, but I would not touch this stock, not at all. Could it go up more tomorrow? Yes. Is there a possibility of that? Yes. Could it go down drastically tomorrow? Yes. And a lot of people are going to say, well, you're saying it could go either way. That's true. At this point, it really is more of a gamble than not. I'm not saying that this will not help us to find a new level. Perhaps the stock will go to sitting at $9. Perhaps the stock will go to sitting at $18 or even $4, anywhere, right? Absolutely anywhere on this chart. But I'll tell you one thing for sure. I would never buy a stock that's up 300% in a day, right? Do I think the potential of that happening again is there? Yes. But would I ask the questions like, is now the best time to buy? Yes. Have we seen the bottom of this drop? I don't think we have, right? I think there's more to come potentially to the downside. And perhaps I'll give you another update on this one tomorrow, but I think at the moment, a lot of people are going to see this as an interesting opportunity. But again, this is a stock that's already up 300%, 16% down in the after hours. I think if there is an opportunity for this one, I think if this one does still have momentum going into it into the next couple of weeks and days, yeah, you could make an argument that now's a potentially interesting, quite risky point to buy. I will agree with that argument, but would I personally buy here? Well, I personally wouldn't, right? That's just my opinion. Again, as I say, not advice, but if you do enjoy it, leave a like and subscribe. More than happy to hear your opinions down in the comment section, so please do provide me with those. Thank you for your time. Goodbye for now.